That was scary. But who do you think is doing this? Let's analyze the clues. Okay, first clue, he lives alone. Second clue, he's on the third floor. Third clue, his door is locked with both a deadbolt and a chain latch. I'm thinking this might be a supernatural story. You know, ghosts, demons, things that go bump in the night. Why am I getting attacked? Well, Mr. Creepypast is an alcoholic. He comes home drunk every night, bangs his head against the wall until he passes out, then has nightmares about a creepy man in a top hat that steals his liver and replaces it with mayonnaise. Wait, wrong story. Let's try this again. The noises started when our protagonist was asleep. So let's think about sleep. Sleep. Sleep is one of the most basic needs of human beings. In fact, scientists believe that the need to sleep is actually encoded into our DNA. But what if I told you there's a creature that feeds on your dreams? A shadowy presence that slips into your mind while you're asleep, stealing precious moments of rest, leaving you exhausted and drained. Oh, wait, sorry. Wrong story again. Let's start from the beginning. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing on my nightstand. But when I checked the screen, it wasn't a call or a text. It was a picture of me lying in bed asleep taken from the corner of my own room. Now, we know two important things. Number one, he sleeps with his phone on his bedside table. And number two, someone took a picture of him. We can safely assume that our protagonist does not want people taking pictures of him when he's asleep. So, naturally, the first assumption would be that this was an intruder. But he says that he lives alone. So, perhaps this is a case of friendly, or maybe not so friendly neighborhood. Nay, neighbor. Love him or hate him. Your nosy neighbor is a classic trope in horror movies. From Rear Window to the Babadook, they always seem to be up to no good. But our protagonist rules this one out because he lives alone. Maybe this is a stalker, someone obsessed with him, following his every move and invading his privacy. But if it's a stalker, why haven't they shown their face yet? If it's a stalker, don't they want to be seen? Of course they do. In fact, there are certain stalkers who become famous for their obsessions, like John Hinckley Jr., who shot President Ronald Reagan in an attempt to impress actress Jodie Foster. What's her number? Wrong story again. So who could it be? Well, after ruling out friendly neighborhood neighbor, and psycho stalker, our protagonist has only one option left. Something supernatural. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, come on, this is a horror story, not a ghost story. Well, get ready to think again, because horror and the supernatural are basically the same thing. In fact, the word horror was coined by an English poet named Horace Walpole in 1764. And what was the name of that story, you ask? The Castle of Otranto. In this groundbreaking work, Walpole blended elements of the medieval, the Gothic, and the uncanny to create a terrifying tale that is still read and enjoyed today. He created an atmosphere of dread and suspense, keeping the reader guessing until the very end. But it wasn't just the plot that made this story so effective. It was also Walpole's use of language. He used vivid and evocative descriptions that appealed to the reader's imagination and created a sense of foreboding. But if this story were to be adapted into a movie, who should play the lead role? That's easy. Our protagonist is obviously played by Henry Cavill. He's the perfect choice because he can convey a sense of vulnerability and terror without resorting to over-the-top histrionics. Plus, he looks great in a top hat. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a sudden urge to watch The Shining.